All right, so speaking of Black Panther, we know his name and the others like Superman and Captain America thanks to comic books.
That's right. The genre has seen a resurgence in the last 2 decades, but in reality, comic books have been around in some form for centuries and first became hugely popular in the 1920s and 1930s. Now, in those days, they were mostly created by men who have mostly been forgotten, especially the Black artists. But today, for our Black History Month celebration, we are talking to local author Ken Quattro, who is shining a light on those invisible Black men. Welcome, Ken, to the show. Welcome. How are you?
Great. I'm doing fine.
It's great to have you. So tell us about your book. What made you want to delve into this topic?
Okay, well, I'm a comics historian, which means I research and do writing about the medium itself, but particularly the creators, the artists and the writers who created the comic books. And about 20 years ago, I started on an article I was going to write about a man named Matt Baker, who was a fantastic comic book artist. This is one of his covers right here. And the only thing anybody knew about him at the time that he was Black and that he had died young. Well, usually when I start my research, I start researching through newspapers and any magazines, anything, any references I could find to about a particular person. Well, with Mr. Baker, there was nothing anywhere I could find. So I started doing inquiries amongst other people I knew, amongst other researchers. And finally, somebody said, have you ever tried contacting Samuel Joyner, who was a retired Black cartoonist living in Philadelphia? So I got Mr. Joyner's address and I wrote to him. And he wrote me back this 4-page letter, and along with some clippings and newspaper articles, and making references not only to Mr. Baker, but several other Black comic book artists that he had known. And that was stunning to me because at the time, many people thought that Baker was the only Black who'd ever worked in comics back in the 1940s. So I wrote Mr. Joyner back and we communicated, and he mentioned a few more things about Baker and a few other artists. And starting with those crumbs of information, I started my research. But the problem is that the normal media that I used, like mainstream newspapers and magazines, had nothing at all about any of these artists.
So this
I
is an
decided to
incredible
start
legacy that
researching
these
through
artists.
Black newspapers.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry, if I may.
Sure.
No one knew about these people. There was no information available to you. So it's almost impossible without your incredible research to understand what kind of legacy these artists left behind. So talk to me a bit about their legacy and what you want people to gain from reading your book.
Sure. These artists were much more than comic book artists. Each one of the men I profiled in the book, there's like 18 of them, had been trained as a fine artist. Some have been classically trained over in Europe. And it just so happened that they ended up working in comic books because it was a way of putting food on the table. And particularly during World War II, they took the place of a lot of white artists who had been drafted, because Blacks in the early years of World War II were not being drafted. And so they ended up filling a position just like the women did with the factories here, the Rosita Riveters. And consequently, they ended up working invisibly in the sense of that nobody even knew who they were because nobody was around to even see them doing the work. And
hence the title of the book, right?
Exactly. And I said in the comic aspect is just an entry point into their lives. I do a long history of each one of these men, starting, decades before they even worked in comics.
Wow. Well, comics are really, really popular right now, especially in TV and movies. What is your favorite modern comic hero?
Well, my favorite, Spider-Man. But,
okay.
Yeah. That's just a prejudice going back to my youth and that. I grew up in the 60s.
Okay. So tell us where people can find your book. It's beautiful. I have a copy of it in front of me, and it is filled with history and illustrations. So how can people get a copy of this?
Well, it's available everywhere. It's you can obviously get it through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all those big sites like that. Or if you want to help out the little guys, you could go through your local comic book store Those guys can use the business.
Excellent. Ken Quattro, thank you so much for joining us. Invisible Men, the trailblazing Black artists of comic books. Everyone, you got to check this out. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.